we look at life through a vitalistic lens as a chiropractor, which means we look at the whole system as opposed to just pieces. So when there's something wrong with, like, say, the gallbladder, we don't look at just the gallbladder, we look at the whole system. So in the chiropractic profession, we don't think that you're born with too many organs and not enough drugs. We think that you're born perfectly. So let's get into it. We are wanting to change some mindsets tonight. That's our goal. From symptom-based health to vitalistic overall health and what the difference is and a better way to look at it. But we need to define what health is. Anybody have an idea about what the definition of health is? You got to play along here. I'm not going to be preaching at you all night. Anyone? Anyone want to guess? Anyone?
When you're not sick.
Okay, good.
Bed, when you get up and get out.
Okay.
When you're on top of the grass instead of under.
Okay. Yeah, not bad. But let's look at it from a different angle. This is kind of what we're talking about. Most people look at it that way, where you're feeling okay, so you must be healthy. But the definition of health is the optimal functioning of all organs and systems of the body, not merely the absence of disease. Which means just because you don't feel anything doesn't equal health, right?
Yeah, it doesn't mean there's not something wrong.
You got it. And the reason it's that way is because you can only feel 10% of your body, which means there's 90% you could never feel even if you wanted to. Like, you think about your left kidney. Can you feel it? No. Can you feel the middle 2 feet of your small intestine? No. Which means there could be something really, really wrong there, but you'd never know because you just can't feel it. And it's actually a good thing that we only feel 10%, because if you felt 100% of everything, you'd never be able to sit down. You just hurt all the time, right? So that 10% is there for communication, emergency purposes. That's about it. And so by the time you feel a symptom, oftentimes it's already been progressed for a long time. So that 10%, if we're making choices off of information, 10% of the information isn't a good number to make a big choice from. So we're going to talk about better ways. So you can read here, these are 5 attributes of health. But how many knew that 10% was about all we could feel? I know you do. I know you do. You guys are cheaters. You've been here before. Yeah, like 10% of the body. Like, when you think about it, that makes sense, right? Like, yeah, I guess I don't feel all the things all the time.
Yeah.
But that's important to think about when we're talking about feeling and what we feel and what we don't feel and what nerves do and what they don't do.
So if you said the kidney, if there was something wrong with the kidney, would you feel it? I mean, like,
Not necessarily.
not necessarily.
Not necessarily. There's 90% of things you'll never feel, which means 90% of the nerves cannot conduct pain or sensory at all. Now, if it happened to be irritating one of those nerves that can conduct sensory, pain, whatever, yeah, a lot of times you can feel that. Most likely you'll probably feel a symptom or a sign prior to ever feeling there's something wrong. Lots of bladder infections, a lot of urinary tract infections, a lot of illness feels because those kidneys aren't digesting the toxins as well as they should. So you're not necessarily feeling that thing, even though there's a big issue there. So like the example is heart disease. It could be present for a long, long time, but you don't even know it's there. The first sign of heart disease is heart attack. But you should be able to feel that first, right? That's how it works. These are the 10 things that everyone needs to know to be healthy. Don't worry, we're going to run through them one by one. You won't be quizzed on it. Don't worry. So number 1, we're designed to be healthy. This seems like a very common sense thing, right? Like, yeah, we're supposed to be healthy. But that means unhealthy is abnormal. Healthy is normal. That's what we're created to be, is healthy and vibrant and a high-performance machine. And it's often overlooked. That's the problem. We think, oh, well, I don't hurt, so I must be healthy. And that's okay. except that we're made to be high-performance machines, not just a fiat running around, right? A lot of times people think that unhealthy things or symptoms are normal. Like, I have normal headaches. I've got normal back pain. It's just my normal knee pain.
That's not normal.
That's not normal. You got it. That is abnormal, which means there's been something there probably for a while and it's added up over time. Do we all have something like that? Something that nags us? Yeah. Now, there are scenarios where this is not necessarily a health issue, like, you get hit by a bus and your leg is forever shattered. Yeah, okay, that's abnormal, but it's not a health-related thing directly. It's an injury. That's a different story, right?
That's a different ballgame.
Different ball game, yeah. Yeah, we'll just keep moving on. Number 2, your body's smart. And guess what? It loves you a lot. I have people come in all the time. Oh, my body hates me today. It doesn't. It loves you. And it is doing everything it can to ensure that you stay at your highest quality of life possible, highest level of health possible. It has an innate intelligence, we call it, that runs it. We like to say the power that made the body heals the body. It's the same power that runs from your brain down, above, down, inside and out. And we're going to talk about anatomy here in a minute. But your body knows exactly what to do and when to do it. So for example, if you cut your hand, it is only your body that can heal that. It's not a Band-Aid, it's not the antibiotic or Neosporin, it is your body that heals that, and that is it. And you don't have to think about it. Your body just does it. It's smart, right? And it will do everything in its power to make sure that you are thriving. If it's given everything it needs and everything's functioning at its highest level. Make sense? Okay. So, the innate intelligence communicates through the nerves, from your brain, through your spinal cord, out through all the nerves to every cell, organ, tissue, gland of your body. The nerve system is the conduction of all information throughout the body. Essentially, we are just a giant chemical soup. Hormones and chemicals and tissues and glands and all these things just mixed together. That innate intelligence coordinates all these different chemicals and puts them all together in the right order to make sure we're functioning right. But it all sent through the nerve system, which is kind of a big deal, right? Your nerve system helps you adapt and deal with stress. So if you're functioning at your highest level, the stressors of life coming in, you can usually handle those. That's usually easy to deal with. It does several other things. This adaptation is wonderful. So when it's hot out like it's been, you're going to sweat. When it's cold, you're going to shiver. And the nerves send all those signals to your brain, and the brain sends all of its signals back out to all the cells and organs that manage those stressors. Muscles start to quiver a little if you're cold and shiver to start warming you up a little bit. That kind of thing. So adaptation's one of the jobs. Communication and coordination, I like to group together. These are the best, in my opinion. Communication, yeah, we talked about that, how it's sending signals back and forth from the brain to the body, brain to the body, brain to the body, and it should be flowing at 100%. Coordination is exciting because that's what I was talking about with the chemical soup. We're coordinating all these different chemicals throughout this body all at once, and they go exactly where they're supposed to go. If you need more oxygen to your heart, blood's going to pump it there. If you need more oxygen to the muscles because you're running away from the bear, blood's going to pump it there. And your lungs are going to breathe faster, and you're going to bring more oxygen in. It all coordinates together. I like to use the analogy of a steak, a big juicy steak sitting on a table. All you have to do is see that, and all of a sudden your mouth starts watering, and your stomach starts rumbling, and the stomach is starting to produce acid because it knows that that steak is going to go inside. And then once it goes inside, well, even before that, you have to reach your muscles out to grab it, the fork to cut it, and the knife to cut it and put it in your mouth. That's all muscle coordination. And then it gets in your mouth, and the saliva and the chewing, all that stuff through all the digestion all happens without you really thinking about it, right? So nerves are super important. They run everything. And because they're so important, and they happen to be very, very fragile, they have to be protected. How do we protect them? Good question. Bones. The spine. This is my world. And we're going to play some anatomy games today. Hopefully you can see everything. Brad, power wash this. This is a brand new clean spine.
Nice.
So this is your spine, and people call it the backbone. But the problem is it's 24 bones individually. It is not one. Did you know that? So the fun thing about this is every bone is different. There are no two bones of the spine that are alike. And you can categorize them by their shapes, their joint angles, whatever, by the region that they're in. So here's how the nerves work. This is the back of your skull. And so your brain sits right here. And it sends signals down your spinal cord, which that little nut thing is. That's your spinal cord. And it goes down inside. Can you guys see this? Am I demonstrating this? Okay, it goes down inside the bones here. These are called your bodies of the vertebra, and they are solid, and that's where your discs are in between here. But your spinal cord goes down behind the bodies and in front of these joints and sharp bones. These joints move, right? Which is fun. They can move and still have room for nerves. So let's walk through some basic anatomy. The spine is your suit of armor, protecting something so precious and valuable that you cannot live without it. Which is why, whether you believe in creation or evolution, the spine is made perfectly for exactly what it needs to do. It is made to protect and move. So if you think of a suit of armor, the best way to protect you is to put a big metal sheet over you and then you're protected, but that's not very good for movement, right? You can't move, you're stuck there. So you have to be able to move. And when you move, then armor becomes less protective. There are weak spots. It provides you much more mobility while still protecting you. But that's how the spine is too. It protects things as you move. Because as you know, your spine moves, right? You can do lots of fun stuff, which is great. And you have room for nerves. These are your nerves that pop out from the spinal cord inside. They pop out in between, well, through these holes that are formed between two bones. And then they go to every cell, organ, tissue, gland in the body.
So each one of those guys has their own function?
You got it. And so you can guess, not everybody's wired perfectly, but you can guess that certain nerves go to certain organs and tissues and glands. So for example, T4, the nerve to the heart. Sometimes it's T5, sometimes it's T3, but that's the general area. And we know that every time, which is why I'm looking at the spine to affect nerves that go to other places. We're going to get into that a little bit more. But this is my favorite thing because it's so complicated and so important that people just kind of forget about it, right? When you just call it your backbone, you think it's just there to keep you in the air, which it does. And you think it's there just, I don't know, to help you move, which it does. But it is armor, just like your skull is the armor for your brain. Make sense? So the problem is, because this is your armor and it's very movable, there are weak links. And those weak links can have flaws. And that's where we run into trouble. So let's talk about that. Stress causes a condition known as subluxation, number 5. What's a subluxation? Anybody know? You two don't count. It's a big word. And it's not like we talk about it all the time because it's a big word. It's hard to spell. It's hard to say.
But you say it all the time.
I say it all the time. A subluxation, in the simple terms, is when a bone shifts out of place and pinches on nerves. That's the basics. It's a lot deeper than that if you want to look into the books, but that's the basics. The armor and its weak link failed, and the bone that is normally held solid where it belongs has shifted. It's not completely dislocated, but it's shifted a little bit out of place. And when it shifts out of place, then these holes where the nerves pop out of get tighter, which means the nerves don't flow quite as fully. Now, they're not shut off, right? They're not cut, but they are hindered. And that's the key. But they're caused by stressors. So, 3 stressors, thoughts, traumas, and toxins, the 3 T's, they are all equal. Everybody thinks that they have to do something. They have to have a physical stressor. which is common. But emotional stressors, mental stressors, and chemical stressors are all equal to the physical stressors. Can we name some physical stressors that everyone thinks about? Easy ones. Come join in, everybody.
Just overworking, right? Like
Sure, yeah,
exercise.
yeah, exercise.
Car crash.
Car crash, you bet. Falling off roofs, something like that. What about just sitting all day? Is that a stressor physically? Yeah, sitting at a desk, staring at a computer. Yeah. Physical stressors are very common. Rolling over wrong in bed, that's a physical stressor. Having a poor bed, that's a physical stressor. What about some emotional stressors? Does anybody have any of those?
I do, but how does that move my bones?
Good question. Those stressors are enough to weaken the chemical bonds and the chemical soup of your body. And that chemical soup, when it gets messed up, things start to fail. The ligaments don't hold like they should. The muscles don't pull like they should. The organs don't function like they should. The blood doesn't pump the right stuff like it should. So the emotional stressors are big. Stress is a killer, right? It is. It'll ruin you. But toxins, those are the ones that everyone just kind of forgets about, or they don't want to think about. Because you think, oh, toxins, well, I'm not eating any radioactive material, right? But we have toxins around us all day. Anybody think of some toxins?
Smoke in the air.
Smoke in the air. Yeah.
Processed foods.
Cleaning products, processed foods, yeah.
The drugs we take.
Drugs, you bet. Pharmaceuticals, yeah. What about cleaning products? What about Brad's drink over there? Think that pink is a natural color? I was making fun of him earlier, it's fine. But yeah, there are so many toxins in this world that we are unaware of. We don't think about the lotions on our skin, our toothpaste, our shampoo, the chemicals in our clothing, our cleaning products like we talked about. A bombardment of stressors every day, a mental, physical, and chemical all weigh on us all day, every day, nonstop. And those stressors all cause subluxations. Does that make sense? So it's a fun thing that we get to live and we get to motor around. But there's a price to that. And your body will tell you all about it. That'll work. Okay. So a subluxation, the bone out of place that pinches on nerves, causes dysfunction. If dysfunction, if you don't know what that word means, it just means things ain't working right. Right? So here's some things that can happen. And this says subluxation is the root cause of many health problems, and I argue the majority of health problems. In fact, almost all health problems are caused because of subluxation. Bullet wounds? Probably not, right? Bus hitting you, shattering your leg? Probably not. But it can cause all sorts of things that we don't even think about. Headaches, digestive issues, fatigue, poor sleep, bad immune system, weak immune system, allergies as a heightened immune system. Pain, inflammation, of course, are the things we think about. And most people come in because of these two. They come in here because they're hurting, which is fine. Chiropractic is wonderful for pain relief, but it goes way deeper than that. So remember, if healthy is normal, and these subluxations are causing all these issues, then there's something that we should be doing about it, right? So we can get back to normal, get back to health. Because it's not something that you have to lose, it's something that just gets, I guess, misdirected, maybe. So these are some things. Does anyone else think of things that maybe brought them in that a subluxation could cause? We didn't talk about that. I mean, there's a million of them. You're probably not wrong. Again, the vast majority of all health issues are subluxation driven. So, any ideas?
Posture.
Yeah? Poor posture, you bet.
You're moved. Like,
Yes.
really stressed, you're probably.
Yes, that's a great one. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
We'll keep moving. I don't think we need this anymore. Can I hang this up?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, appreciate it. Nice of you. Okay, so this is a fun one too, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Life is unnaturally stressful. If you think of life today, and you think of life a decade ago, is it more or less stressful?
More.
Way more different.
Is it less?
For me,
Think so? Okay. Most people would disagree, which is fine. But yeah, life is probably more stressful. Why? Because you may not have the mental stress, but I'll guarantee you've got more chemical stress, more electromagnetic stress, maybe more physical stress, depending. These are some common stressors. This is why life is more stressful. We have more screen time. Remember when there wasn't such a thing as cell phones? We talked earlier about how we were the remote on the TV, right?
yeah.
Way more screen time. We're way more sedentary. We don't do anything physically active very much anymore, except for like our regimented 1 hour a day or whatever we do for workout. Our processed food, the food we eat is way worse than it used to be straight off the farm. Information overload. This is a very big mental stressor. If you're watching the news, you know that that is all bombardment of fear and anger and whatever else is happening in the world, right? So that is a big mental stressor.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. And financial pressure, right? Finances are getting worse and worse for the most part, right? These are all major stressors that we deal with nonstop, all day, every day, day in, day out, morning and night. You cannot escape these, right? Unless you move to like Tibet and be a monk or whatever. But chances are if you're living here, you're not going to escape those. And if you're not escaping those, and those cause subluxations, then what do we do about it? Fix it, right? You got it, you got it. The point is that there's so many things happening to us all day, every day, this bombardment of unavoidable stressors, that even though our body wants to be as great as it can be and heal everything that it wants to heal, it can't because it's overloaded. Did I kick that dead horse enough? Did we get this? Okay. So, what do? How would you know if you have a subluxation?
You don't.
You can't walk.
For the most.
How do you know?
You tell us.
You're both right. Purple wins. Yeah, you don't know. You can't tell. Which it seems odd, right? Because you think, oh, I felt my back go out last night. I know I'm out because my neck hurts. Well, that's a symptom of a progressed subluxation. That original subluxation you could never feel. It slipped out and you didn't even know it. It could have happened decades ago. And that's the sad part, is that it happens without you knowing. So when they shift out of place, that can cause issues down the road that you'll never know. So for example, back to the heart nerve, that bone shifts out at T4, irritates your nerve to your heart, and it cuts off, let's just call it 5 to 10% of that nerve flow. Do you notice that? No. It's still working at 90%, right? But that 10% adds up year after year after year, and then all of a sudden you have heart disease. All of a sudden you have high blood pressure. All of a sudden you have whatever else. But you didn't know it was there because you never felt it. And that's the problem with pain as well. It adds up, and so by the time you feel it, it's already been well progressed. So if something has taken years and years and years to be created to show a symptom or a sign, do we know the difference between signs and symptoms? Symptoms you feel, signs you see? Okay. If it takes that long to find that, is it going to be corrected overnight?
No.
No. But how would you know? You don't know. I know. I can test. I can check. So you're right. Yeah, come see me. Because only chiropractors do this. There is no other profession in the world that finds subluxations and fixes them. There are many other modalities out there that are wonderful. But nobody but a chiropractor knows exactly what they're looking for to find a subluxation and how to correct it. Because subluxations fall out in a certain direction. It's called a listing, not that you care, but it must go back exactly how it came out, otherwise it's wrong, right? So a chiropractor is the only person that can do this. Don't be fooled. Next one. This is a big one. What should you do if you have a subluxation? I think we already talked about this. Come see me. Get it corrected. And again, not all spinal manipulations are the same. That's why we call it an adjustment. It is a specific directional move of that bone back where it belongs, not just a bunch of popping. I know you've seen these YouTube videos where they got a towel and they yank and then they twist and crack and you hear this. Those are all manipulations. They move bones. Who here pops their back or their neck or fingers or any of that? Nobody? Good. Yeah, I know Brad does. I know Liz does. But it feels good, right? When you pop them, it feels good. So what's the problem with that? The problem is it's not correct. It's just moving of the bone. And that popping sound, that popping feeling releases your body's endorphins, which are kind of like your body's cocaine, right? And so just like cocaine, if you want to feel good again, you got to do it again, and then again, and then again, right? And it compounds into poor joints, arthritis, all this other stuff. So a chiropractor is the only person that can correct this correctly. Correct it correctly. Again, manipulations are imprecise. Can they move a bone back into place? I mean, yeah, probably, maybe. Not guaranteed. And if it's not done correctly, you're only compounding the issue because you're causing more movement and more issues around the segment that needs to be moved, not the segment itself. There are many modalities that you could use, like I said, but they're not a substitute for chiropractic. Acupuncture is awesome. Massage is awesome. Physical therapy is awesome. They're not substitutes. You cannot have another profession do what a chiropractor can do. And so if you just want bones moved, sure, go do whatever. But if we're trying to correct a problem, we have to get to the root of that problem, not chase the symptoms. Remember we talked about that? And so when you're trying to be healthy and you have all these stressors in life that are causing bones to shift out of place, in order to be healthy, we have to restore your body's ability to handle these stressors. And that means moving the bones back in, allowing the nerves to be flowing at 100% again, and let your body readapt to the situation at hand. Will those bones stay in? Why not?
Muscles were trained the other way.
Yeah, that's one way. Why not else? Why not else? Why else would it not stay?
Because you're always moving.
Always moving.
Yep. What else?
We don't change our habits.
Yep, that's one. You probably have heard this from me. When you say, I just can't stand, I don't know why. Remember what I tell you? Because you don't stop living. These unavoidable stressors of life. You're moving. Your muscles are adapted. You still have bad habits. You're all correct. It's life. So the good news is we can help with that, right? We'll put the bones back where they belong, put you back together, let your body heal itself, but the stressors of life keep adding up. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So when you're trying to pop yourself, I know nobody said they did it except for their fingers and hands, my employees. It's the same idea as if you're trying to go to, instead of going to a dentist, you're going to drill and try to fill your own cavity. It's kind of a big deal, right? You kind of leave that to the professionals. With your nerves conducting everything in your whole body and making sure that it runs at its highest, why would you try to do that yourself? You guys don't do it. I'm preaching to the choir. Except for those two that work for me. Okay, so we're on a mission. Our mission here, which we don't have up anymore, but we'll put up soon, is our mission is to make Wyoming the healthiest place on earth. We engage everyone in the chiropractic lifestyle by providing the highest quality services possible. We are on a mission to make Wyoming healthy. And although this may not seem like this affects you, it does. We want you to join our mission. And have you ever tried to work out by yourself? It's hard. But with an accountability partner, it's much easier because you're accountable to each other. And so when you bring in your spouse and you bring in your kids or your coworkers or whatever, they can become your accountability partner. And it helps move our mission forward, making this world healthier. Because if we're chasing symptoms, we're not getting any healthier. We have to correct the problem. And again, I told you this is chiropractic slanted by far, and I may be biased, but without chiropractic, you cannot be healthy fully. Because again, if your heart's not working right, your digestion's not working right, it doesn't matter how good your diet is, you can't absorb the nutrients you need to absorb if your digestion's off. You can be as fit as you want to be. You can live 5 hours in the gym a day. But if you're subluxated, you can't be as healthy as you could possibly be. And we want all the people that you love to feel healthy as well, right? So health is a lifestyle. Chiropractic is a lifestyle. I wish I was Jesus and could just heal you with one time. That's not how it works. It's got to be over an extended period of time because we live day in and day out. We have the stressors. We have the bad habits. We have life that we live. And so it's a constant bombardment of stressors, which means we need a constant reminder of your body how to work correctly. So staying consistent with chiropractic is how you stay healthy forever. When you think about life in the future when you get old, do you want to be living by yourself, or living with family, whatever, taking care of yourself? Or would you rather be living in a nursing home not able to care for yourself? Those are big differences, but it's the same idea. 1, you'll care about your health. 2, chances are you won't, and you'll end up not being able to care for yourself. And when you start to think lifetime instead of momentary, you can start looking farther ahead and say, where do I want to be when I get old? Where do I want to be between now and then? And I hope it's healthier. So when you start thinking lifetime, you start thinking differently as opposed to momentary pain, right? So there are many other things we can do for health. Diet, exercise, sleep. What else?
Your mind.
Yeah, mind.
Relationships.
Yeah. These are all wonderful things and they should all be done. But you don't have to do them all at once. That's the point. You do them little by little by little. But the sooner you start, the sooner you get to do it. This is the continuum. And so this, when we're thinking about life again and long term, this is important because you can't stand still on this. Either you're working towards health or you're working towards illness, premature death, disease. You don't stay in one place. And a lot of people try to stay here in the comfort zone. Well, I don't feel bad, so I'm fine. But the problem is you can't stay there. You're moving one way or the other at all times. So either you're working on getting better or you're not. And this is actually closer to this. This is how it should actually be. It is always an uphill battle to get well because of the bombardment of stressors every day. Your body wants to do it, but life is busy. It's hard. It's also hard to get well. So we like to say, choose your hard. It's hard to work on wellness. It's hard to make those choices every day. It's also hard to be sick. It's also hard to be living in a nursing home. It's also hard to be hurting all the time. So would you like to work hard to get well, or would you like to live ill? And so again, it's always an uphill battle to get better and better and better. Nobody coasts into health. You can only coast backwards and down, right? So the more you work on your health, the more likely you're going to be climbing that hill. And again, I'm biased, but without chiropractic at the center of your health, you just can't be as healthy as you could be. Do I have anyone else? Oh yeah. I think that's about it. So again, choose something to do. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be chiropractic today. Eat a salad, that's healthier than yesterday. Walk around the block, that's healthier than yesterday. You're working towards being healthier. And that's what we care about. We want you to be healthy. And we're here to help as much as we can. So yes, chiropractic should absolutely be in your wheelhouse and at the center of your health, which happens to be it is for all of you, which is wonderful. It makes it easier on me. But those are the main things that everyone needs to know to be healthy. And I didn't really want to preach at you, but Sorry if I did.
Sometimes we need it.
But what's that?
Sometimes we need it.
Sometimes you just need to hear it out loud.